Hello and a very warm welcome to the Wonder Diamond League, coming to you from the Qatar Sports Club in Doha. This meeting was postponed from its usual May date. However, we are delighted that everyone has managed to congregate a few weeks later than intended originally. A lot of hard work and rearranged schedules have combined to hopefully produce another exciting Doha meeting, one which has produced so many amazing performances over the years, and a packed stadium tonight will be hoping for more of the same. It's pretty warm, as you would expect. You can see there around 33 degrees centigrade. There is a bit of a strong breeze down the back straight, which may help our jumpers and indeed the sprinters as well. And it will help the javelin, where we've got Neeraj Chopra in his first major competition of the year, where he threw 90 metres here last year for the first time against the new star of the event, Ramesh Patiragi of Sri Lanka, who in Rome went beyond 92 metres. Yes. On the track, the women's 400 metres is one of the highlights. Marilady Paulino, first time we've seen her in the Diamond League in 2026, the Olympic champion, will be taking on Natalia Gwiazdowska amongst others. Diamond League points, as ever, up for grabs. Our first event, though, on the track is the 400 metre hurdles. I'm Steve Cram, and I'll leave you now with Hannah England.
Thanks, Steve. And we saw that 33 degrees centigrade. And we've got to say, it could have been worse. It could have been warmer. It's been warmer the week before. It's going to be warmer next week. So it's okay conditions for these athletes. Emily Yule of Norway starts in lane 8. The World Relays 4x4 gold with the Norwegian squad, and then ran a personal best in the hurdles, but says she's going to retire this year. Kemi Adekoya of Bahrain goes in lane 7. She's the Asian record holder, set that 53.09, coming 4th at the Budapest World Championships in 2023. Rochelle Clayton of Jamaica goes in lane 6. She's got 2 World Championship bronzes. She was 3rd in Rabat and Rome, and then 2nd in Oslo. But this woman has been the absolute sensation of the 2026 season so far in this event. The world leader with 52.58, Emma Zapotalova of Slovakia. Gianna Woodruff of Panama goes in lane 4. She was 5th in Tokyo. And she's done one race sub 54 seconds this year. She was 4th at the road run. Ashley Miller of Zimbabwe takes lane 3. Very proficient over 100 hurdles, actually. She took silver over that shorter distance at the African Championships this year. Ayamido Fodoronzo of Italy takes lane 2. She's the national record holder, struggling a bit for form so far this year. She was 7th in Rabat and then 9th in Rome. And the final athlete in lane 1, Eileen Demers of Germany. Time national champion for Germany, season's best of 55.07. So all eyes on Zapotalova in lane 5, because she challenged the meeting record 53.61 of Dalila Mohammed. Rochelle Clayton is getting closer every time these women race, and Gianna Woodruff of Panama will be on her inside. We mentioned the conditions here in Doha. Will be a headwind for these athletes down the back straight. They've got to watch their pace judgment, but then a welcome following wind as they go over the final few hurdles. Rochelle Clayton on the outside of Zapotalova. I think the Jamaican might try and start aggressively here, put some pressure on the Slovakian. Not much to choose between these athletes as they go down the back straight. It's a strong start from Adekoya of Bahrain. She's out in lane 7, perhaps rising first here out of the races. Adekoya seems to have an early lead here from lane 7, where Zapotalova and Clayton just biding their time into that win. Zapotalova goes into the lead as they swing into the home straight, as she has all season. Zapotalova looking absolutely full of running here in the Diamond League. She's going to streak away with this again. Just one hurdle between Zapotalova and another win on the circuit. She is cementing herself as the favourite for the European title, and she's obliterated the meeting record by 1.3 seconds. That is some run from Zapotalova. It's going to be a new lifetime best as well, new world lead. Look at that, she can't hold all the boards.
Yeah, you know, the story for her, she changed coach after the Olympics and went to Bram Peters, the Dutch coach. And there is something about Femke Bollenberger. When you watch her, and it's so smooth all the way around. She doesn't mind. You know, Rochelle Clayton goes out. I didn't call you centre right now. It's just kind of gliding round. She comes into the home straight then and just continues to move away. She's so strong. And I was looking before she ran today, like the 3 races in 2026 had averaged 52.8 something. We've just dragged that down again. And she only set 53 flat last year at the Worlds when she was so delighted with that. So her progress in 18 months has been phenomenal. And she's now moving into those ranks where, I mean, you know, we talk about Sydney, we talk about Femke, 1 or 2 others, but she's best of everybody at the moment. No Femke in the event this year. And apologise if you've lost signal at home. We've lost signal at the stadium, but we will keep talking, hoping that you can still see what we're talking about. But yeah, amazing. 52.30. 51 ain't that far away, surely.
It really is, and when you look at this time of year as well, we've still got 6 weeks to go till that European Championships, and you know, there are the World Ultimate Championships as well for Zapoltalova. That will be a big test. The likes of Jasmine Jones will come into that, and these athletes, you know, they might all move on, but it's going to be such an exciting year for Zapoltalova.
Okay. In the triple jump earlier on, this is an event which has such a great history here, and in the women's event, Perez Hernandez in round 2 produced a 14.97. Let's talk about the wind. Sadly for her, just a plus 2.5, which meant it was over the legal limit. Otherwise, that would have been her second best jump ever. Really good from her. But a venue that has produced some amazing triple jump competitions over the years. We're going to see the men's triple jump, the return of Machado, a little bit later on, where he and Christian Taylor had perhaps one of the best competitions ever. But we had some history here tonight as well in the women's triple jump a little earlier. When you get this combination of warm weather, and then, you know, that bit of breeze, just hope it stays at 2 meters per second. Saar herself, who's had such a great season, Sally Saar, and has picked up a couple of great wins on the circuit. Well, second round for her was again where everything happened, and a big new personal best for her. Best before this evening was 14.75, and tonight managed 14.86, getting so much closer to that magical 15-meter mark. Still no Rojas in the women's triple jump on the Diamond League circuit, but this is an event which is getting better and better and better.
Now this lady, Velasco, has been really, really strong this season. She's looked like the woman to beat. She's on 5 undefeated competitions in a row, and today she really hit her stride. A sensational 15 meters 13 coming in the 5th round. She was in a tight battle with Perez Hernandez until this point, but to go over 15 meters for the first time in her career, catch a great wind at plus 1.3, just seemed like it meant the world to the Cuban. 15 meters is such a benchmark for elite female triple jumping, and Velasco has had the results, she's had the wins, and then today here in Doha she has had the distance as well.
Yeah, amazing. Keeps this, well, I don't know, can you call it a tradition? We're going to see Machado back. I mean, it was 2015 that night with Christian Taylor. I was here when it was the first time ever 2 men had gone over 18 meters in the same competition. We nearly had 2 women over 15 in this competition. And yes, Rojas and others have been doing the big jumps, but it's been a while, hasn't it, since we've seen a 15-meter jump.
And I think that's it. Shanika Ricketts did it for the first time in her career. We've seen Thea Lafond do it at the Olympics when it counted. But you're right, Steve. I really thought tonight was the night we were going to have 2 over 15 in the same competition.
Well, lots of the people in the stadium have come to see the return of Barshim and the high jump. That'll be getting going pretty soon. Really look forward to seeing him hopefully produce something that can relive some of the fantastic memories he's given us here. I remember, I think one of the first ever Diamond Leagues we overran by about 20 minutes because he was going so high in the high jump. Yeah, so let's hope we see plenty of him this evening. Good to see him back.
Well, it's his first Diamond League in 2.5 years or so, and I think he's very, very happy to be back and to be back here in front of the home crowd as well.
Our next track action will be the men's 110 metres hurdles, sponsored by...
Okay, our next event on the track is going to be the men's 110-metre hurdles, an event in which we've already had a world record this year. Jacoby Tharp in the NCAAs, which saw some amazing performances. I mean, truly outstanding on the track in Eugene in the USA. And a new world record. It didn't just take, scrape a hundredth off it. 500ths of a second, 12.75, and all of a sudden running 13 seconds for the high hurdles. Wow, it's never ordinary, is it? But now you really need to be going some. So he's reset the bar at the world level, and others will be trying to get close to that. We've got plenty in this race coming up for whom that's a benchmark they have passed, but we'll be well aware of what Tharp has done.
Let's take a moment to catch up with the men's triple dunk. Jordan Scott came into this event as the world lead with 17.66. He extended that in the first round with 17.69. The Jamaican really is in form, but he's up against it here this evening with Pedro Pichardo, the world champion, jumping for the very first time since Tokyo, and he snatched the gold in the 6th round. So we're expecting an intense battle between Pichardo and Scott here this evening. And I am absolutely delighted that this wind is staying in the legal zone, particularly when I look at the sprint races we've got coming up. That's exciting, but it's kind of nice for these guys as well. These marks will last, they will go on into the season. Here is a look at Pedro Pichardo.
Yeah, great to see him back, isn't it?
And I just think that performance in Tokyo, so many of these male triple jumpers, it's all about quality over quantity. They can't jump week in, week out. And Pichardo competes very, very sparingly. And the fact that he's come all the way here to Doha just makes me think he really feels like he's in form. He is the meeting record holder here at 18.06. You mentioned, Steve, the wonderful battles with Christian Taylor all over the world, and particularly here in Doha. Pichardo is so cool and calm. It was almost fun to see him lose that facade in Tokyo and just be totally overjoyed with the gold medal. He's on at 17.71 here in Doha, so he is the new world-leading athlete.
So the aforementioned men's hurdles. Conditions here, we mentioned this breeze might just help. If it stays below 2 meters per second, then we could get something pretty quick here. Kind of crossing your fingers with it. We've been watching the jumps and it's been flipping, above and below 2 meters per second. But the last hour or so, probably just within the legal limit. So in lane 1 we have Thomas Wilkes of France. Lane 2 is just Quang Mate of France. Lane 3, Kendry Menendez, really exciting young 20-year-old, went number 3 in the world all-time list and is running very, very well, 13.07 in Bydgoszcz. Jamal Britt, who actually went back to America, ran 12.99 in LA. Could well still be the favourite here, but he's got against him the world champion Cordell Titch in lane 5. And I'll come back to him in a second, talking about what he was looking for from this race. And Enrique Lopez, world silver medalist indoors at 60-metre hurdles this year. Very quick start, normally, as that might suggest, 4th at the Olympics and at the World Championships. Asia Martinez, former European champion and indeed bronze medalist at the Worlds back in 2022. The Spaniard, decent form, but might find these guys a bit quick. Roman Lecoeur. Okay, so right in the middle there, I'm really excited about Kendry Menendez, young Cuban with such brilliant heritage. Britt, who's in probably the form of his life, the consistency's there, but he has travelled an awful lot. Was in the meets in China, did brilliantly, won the 2 Diamond Leagues there. I mentioned that race in Bydgoszcz where he beat Menendez, but then went back to the States and has come out. Whereas for Cordell Titch, he was in that race in LA as well. But he said, I'm still kind of building my season here, so perhaps accepting that Brit's in a slightly better place, but what can Menendez do against the two famous Americans here? So Menendez in 3, Brit's in 4, Tincher's in 5, Lopez in 6.
Set.
Menendez got a pretty good start. It's Brit who's leading this. Brit's just got this by half a minute at the minute, but the Cubans, oh, he's just hit that one hard, and Brit's got the advantage back again, although he's hitting hurdles everywhere, and right through the middle comes Cordell Tinch. Tinch gets it, just from Martinez of Spain. Well, it was like, you have it, you have it, you have it. It's passing the parcel, or like a hot potato there, wasn't it? Yeah, messy race from quite a few of the guys. Maybe the pressure of thinking they were going to get a good race, a fast time tonight, who knows? Menendez did get out well, but then he hit. Brit looked like he was in charge, had it, and then he hit. And then Tinch managed to kind of guide himself through the middle of it. 30-23, nothing brilliant, but he'd be pleased with the win.
Isn't it funny? You should have a very simple race. Everyone's in their own lanes. Yes, they've got 10 barriers to get over, but you're right, there's an awful lot to unpick in that hurdle. So Asier Martinez looked very good out there in lane 7. The Spaniard just sort of getting on the stuff, but it was carnage in the other lanes. Menendez, as you say, hitting everything. I don't know if he set off Jamal Britt, but Britt, look at that, some 5 hurdles in a row, jogged it in. And Cordell Tinch, we know he's a champion. That title in Tokyo was fantastic. The time he ran last year, the 12.86, which now looks normal because of Jacoby Tharp's 12.75 world record. But yeah, that's the run of a champion there for me tonight here in Doha, in a messy race where everyone was wondering what was going on. In hot conditions, he takes the win in 13.23.
Close for the minor places behind that, 13.27. 13.28 and 13.31. Machado then 17.71 leading with that world leading effort. You know, in that world you were talking about, the guys, you know, the worlds. He won with the last round, didn't he? The last jump, I think, the Italian was leading.
Yeah, it was, well, Dalla Valle was only in the last round, who's here this evening as well. He's down in 4th place at the moment, but yeah, he shook it up in the last round, and then Machado went again and took that gold. And it takes so much effort, mentally, technically, physically, to do the 6 rounds of this event, and when it changes like that at the end, when athletes are still extending their distance, super impressive.
So Jordan Scott, it's been a pretty good competition from these two, and we might have expected it. Jordan Scott in superb form in that first round, 17.69 with a new personal best. Can he build on that? This is right at the end, the final 3. So because Pichardo was leading, he got the chance to go first. That's the way the final 3 works now. So Scott, though, needs to find even more. Was that a red? Looked to me that he was over the board. Yeah, indeed. A little bit annoyed with himself, but I think any time you jump at personal best, it's just when you're doing round 1, you're probably thinking, right, this is my night, it's going to get better from here, but not to be. He actually matched it in round 4, exactly.
Well, this is the first competition I've really seen Jordan Scott look stressed in. I think all the other Diamond Leagues he's almost been surprised. Last year and this year he's been pleasantly surprised, and I think he met his match here tonight in Pedro Pichardo. Yasir Tricky will be the final athlete to jump here in the final 3. He's had a good evening. National record 17.67 coming in round 4. He passed round 5, so he's nice and fresh here for one last attempt. The Algerian going to have the last jump, the last chance to change the result. Ooh, nice into the board there. He really likes it. We mentioned that competition in Tokyo. Poor Tricky was in a medal position until round 6 and then just nudged down to 4.
Well, he's had one national record, Hannah, already. He's said he thinks he might have more here. Wait for it to come on. I mean, they normally get a good feel for it, don't they? We have those graphics. They don't have that. They just have a feel themselves.
17.65, but it's a pretty big improvement for Tricky here this evening. It's gone from 17.43 up to 17.67. So great jumping from those men, and just 4 centimetres separating the top 3 in the end.
Well, there he is. He's held various placards up here over the years, but another world lead. And what, 11 years after that brilliant night with himself and Christian Taylor, he's still winning here in Doha. Machado wins the triple jump 1771.
It's almost like he's trying not to smile too much, trying not to over-celebrate.
Cool. Full result there, very close. Personal best was Scott with that 1769. Did that on 2 occasions during the competition, and Tricky backed up that 1767 with a 65 in the final round.
Time for more sprint action. The women's 100 metres coming up. We have got a men's 200 later as well. This wind is playing ball so far, underneath 2 metres per second. Athletes here that would love to get close to 11 seconds, maybe just nip under. Dananor Salem of Qatar will go in lane 1. 16-year-old made the final of the Asian Championships over 60 metres indoors this spring. She's got a lifetime best of 11:47. Yael Bestui of Spain goes in lane 2. She's the national record holder over 200 metres. She was 6th in the Rome Diamond League over that longer sprint. Kemba Nelson of Jamaica will go in lane 3. She was back under 11 seconds last year for the first time in a few years. 11:08 is her season's best, but she hasn't actually raced in the 6 weeks since that time. Patricia van der Beken of Luxembourg will go in 4. Struggled a bit with injuries and illness last season, but she looks back to her best. She was 3rd in Stockholm. Zainab Dosso of Italy goes in 5. She was the world indoor champion. She hasn't raced that much outdoors so far. With 6 weeks to go until that European Championships, this is an opportunity to show form. Navia Battle will take 3 consecutive thirds in the Diamond League 200s this year. This is her first 100-metre race in 2 months. Maria Perez of Spain goes in 7. 5th in Tokyo, the relay squad, and then a bronze at the World Relays. Destiny Smith-Barnett of Liberia goes in lane 8. She was 6th at the recent African Championships and then improved to 11:27 in Canada a few weeks ago. Zainab Dosso, so brilliant on the indoor season. She was just 7th in Rabat and 5th in Stockholm. The Italian will want much more out of this race here in Doha. And Van der Beken getting closer and closer to the 11-second barrier and go to her left-hand side. Away first time, Dosso good out of the blocks. You'd expect that with her 60-metre prowess. The Dosso now has got a battle on her hands. Nelson of Jamaica, the second half of her race has been fantastic. 10:88, following win 2.5, so that won't stand, but still, what a time from Kemba Nelson. I think she's probably seen the clock, but maybe not seen the wind reading. But that was a lovely run from Nelson, fine out of the blocks, and then it was something around 40 or 50 metres where she just looked like she was on a conveyor belt and everyone else was on a normal track. Great running.
Yeah, she got it really well. I mean, you see the reaction to Bestui and others are going, oh, what have I done today? But they haven't looked at the wind reading. Nonetheless, you kind of judge yourself against the others, and she was clear then. Good start. You've got the 2 big starters, Dosso, Van der Beken next to her, but she was right up with them. But then, as you said, Hannah, from that point, halfway down, metre turns into 2 metres, almost 3 metres by the end. Bestui finished pretty quickly next to her as well in lane 2. But looks good, you know, and I think you've got this change of the guard a little bit in Jamaica. Elaine's back, you know, the old guard are still hanging around, but they've got these great sprinters coming through. And if they can get the consistency, keep clicking the times, then yeah, you know, you're going to be on Commonwealth Games for the Jamaicans coming up. You're really interested to see who makes the team, but she's got a great chance.
Well, with the rescheduling of this event here in Doha, it is clashing with the British National Championships, with the Jamaican Championships, the Canadian Championships, and I don't know the significance of Nelson being here and not being at those Jamaican champs, but she certainly sent a message.
Well, a lot of Qatari athletes with a chance in front of a home crowd to do well here. Here's one of them, Abdel Salam, against all the best in the pole vault, and wow! Lovely clearance. It's still early, 5.62. But one or two of the big names here tonight have already had a few problems at this early height. Thompson with a failure, and Chris Nielsen, one or two others. No Duplantis here. When did he get married? Last week?
12th, whatever day of the week that was, yeah.
Probably still on.
Forgive me.
You made the remark that they were playing his what do I call it? His pop record.
Yes. Yeah, they were playing, I think, at one of the earlier heights, weren't they? And I thought it was kind of unfair. They finally got away from him. They don't have to compete against him, and they have to listen to him instead. Carolis now at 5.62. Carolis is still doing these massive clearances. The consistency outdoors isn't quite there, but you just feel like he's playing around, he's trying something new. He's almost sacrificing his results in the circuit over the last 5 or 6 weeks for me in the hunt of something bigger, because just look at the height there. He won in a Strava earlier in the week, but well under 6 meters. You feel like something big's coming again.
Yeah, that was his entry to the competition for Casey Lightfoot. He'd actually failed at 5.42. Second attempt, 62. He does it this time. We were seeing the pole vault in a slightly more unusual position. We thought the high jump might have been at this bottom bend for Barshim, but it's the pole vaulters who are getting the attention of the... Tends to be the bigger crowd on this bottom bend, although there's a fairly even spread. It's pretty full all the way. And Menno Vloen then second attempt at 62. So getting their act together after 1 or 2 failures. But I can't tell you that Obiena and Zachary Bradford, the two to fall foul at this height. Vloen definitely on the height there. And Chris Nielsen joined the party. So fairly early stages, but with the exception of Corrales, the kind of the rest of the guys, as soon as it goes up 72, 82, they'll start to get sorted out a little bit, you suspect. It's a bit warmer here though than it was in Oslo the other night.
It is, but I feel like they're struggling with the conditions slightly, these guys. They're looking a bit uncomfortable. They're waiting a long time to jump, and here goes Sondre Thomsen for a third attempt at 5.62. And he gets it this time. And the emotion of them, they're so relieved to be clearing 5.62. This guy's done 6.06 this season. So I think it doesn't really matter which side of the stadium they hold the pole vault here in Doha. You're right, they have moved it to the other end of the track, but they do always have to deal with the crosswind. It's a tricky place to jump. They even moved it indoors one year, didn't they, when the wind was deemed too dangerous. But I think the wind's going to dampen the distances a bit tonight.
All right, next out on the track, the women's 800 metres. That's a very nice, cool warm-up area that they've been in, or the call-up area. The warm-up track is just off to our right behind, where it is still warm, and they do get used to the conditions a little bit with Chris Nielsen. Bar's now at 5.82. Pretty much because nothing changed at 5.72, so we've jumped here to 5.82. Very nice clearance, and whatever was going on earlier on, they seem to have got to grips with it a little bit. Nice clearance from the American. Yeah, Nielsen had such a good year, or good period for a couple of years, didn't he? Just trying to get himself back to those sort of levels. Thompson second in Oslo in front of his home crowd in the chillier weather just over a week ago. That's better. I mean, look as though he's going to go out at 5.62, passed at 5.72, and makes 5.82 look straightforward. It's got a bit more rhythm there. Look at that. That's a big clearance. He knows it as well.
I think you're right, Steve. They are just starting to settle in here. Carolis goes at 5.82. He passed at 5.72. And again, nice high clearance, nothing to worry about. He looks a bit relieved with it. And Carolis, he's pushing himself with these passes as well. He knows if he wants to go up over 6 metres, he's got to arrive at that height fresh. He can only have, what, 3 jumps maybe in his legs and his arms and his body if he's going to get to that 6:10, to that 6:20.
Yeah, it's very energy sapping, this sort of weather, and even though it's 8:30 or beyond in the evening, every attempt takes energy. That's a nice clearance, though. Well, Casey Lightfoot might have thought in his competition was struggling. He's had to have more than 1 attempt at most of the heights. 2 to get over 82. Just gives it a real clatter, doesn't he? Maybe a little fortunate it stayed on. Smiles all round. Some of those earlier failures will sort them out in terms of ranking here, including for Sam Kendricks. Cleared 62 and 72 first attempt, but not this one. Ah, that's better. That's better for Big Sam. Clear at 582, so they're all finding this height within their grasp. Again, just shaving it. Still getting used to that moustache.
Thought you were going to make a shaving segue there. Shaving the bar, not shaving his lip.
I missed my chance. Darn it. Okay, we mentioned earlier on a lot of the people, that folks are coming from all sorts of countries, Kenya and Ethiopia, to watch the runners, but a lot of people want to see this man here. Oh, that looks nice, doesn't it? Listening to him at the press conference yesterday, he was very open about where he's at and talking about, all I want is to leave a legacy, and every competition could be my last one, but I might be at the Olympics in 28. You know, it was a bit rambling in some respects, but it was really interesting to listen to him. He talks so well, and he's at a lovely part in his life and his career where everything's a bonus.
And I think that's good to recognise it. Making the podium in Paris was phenomenal with the disruptions he had in 2024. And, you know, to not make Tokyo when he wanted to finish as that to be his last World Championships. I don't know, maybe he's just going with the flow. Carolise now, second attempt at 592. Yeah, it's a good clearance, isn't it? But really, really happy with that. I think he's the first guy to go clear here at 592. The other men are attempting this height. But the atmosphere is great here in Doha. It's quite a small stadium, but they pack it out and they love their sport. And they get really, really involved. And they've been getting behind the pole vaulters. Even when they were warming up, the cheer they were getting for the warm-up heights was motivating.
Yeah, good atmosphere, as you said. And, you know, they're pretty close to the crowd as well. The coaches can get a good close-up view in this stadium. So Carolise, as you said, 592. Took 2 attempts. That's the first time in which he's needed to do that, but nonetheless, we'll be happy. Now, back on the track, 800.
2 laps coming up. I think this is probably the longest you'd want to comfortably run in the heat of Doha. I'm sure the other races will be okay, but no issues, I think, for an 800 here above the bell as Spain shares with De Vita, the pacemaker. She's been asked to go 57.5. It's the wave-like pace. Aratil Noe of Botswana. Good year so far, 1500-metre personal best and silver at the African Championships. She shares with Addie Wiley. Inspired bronze at the World Indoor Championships this year. Sekadiso took the gold last year when we were in Nanjing. She's actually gone 157 twice this year, the South African, so she is in good form. Sige Daguma, the Olympic silver medalist, will go in 5. She showed great strength with a 3:55 in Shanghai, over 1,500 metres. And she was a good second behind world leader Audrey Farrow in Rabat. Shafika Maloney and Halima Nakai share lane 4. Renal Lamotte of France shares with Laura Hoffman in lane 3. Just Getachew goes in 2, alongside her Ethiopian teammate, Ghana Helu. Lane 1 goes to Shada Tesahay of Ethiopia, 17-year-old, in her first outdoor race of the season and her first 800 metres. Plenty of talent here, lots of women under 2 minutes already, many down under 1:58. This event's really been blown apart by Audrey Verreaux this season with that world-leading 153.98. Her and Keely Hodgkinson fighting it out, battling on that all-time list. So for these women here in Doha, I think they might be a bit relieved to not have those two to race against. And I think this is quite evenly matched, this 800 metres, and there's a lot of women in it fighting here on the break to get pole position. Sana De Witte has been asked to do 56.5, and the wave lights going to 157.5. So they're all aboard the 157 train at the moment.
Yeah, 2 or 3 too many for me. You know, when yes, you know, you want it hard, but it isn't going to be Keely Hodgkinson and Audrey Verreaux hard, is it? So pace will be good, but Nakai's managed to get herself tucked in behind. Annie Wiley is right up there now with Botswana. But yeah, just now they've got to keep the pace going. You know, if the pace drops out, then don't let it slack. It's well stretched, and Maloney's making a good move as well.
And they're actually a little bit quick through the bell there, based on what they asked. I think De Witte made a good choice because the pack were right up behind her. And Nakai just won 800 so far this year for the 2019 World Champion, and it was 2.7. She's already running much, much better than she did in LA. But Addie Wiley got that bronze at the World Indoor Championships, went on to win the US Mile Championships, a bit of over-distance work, and she's gone early here, the American. It's a move from Sige Daguma. Ominous on the outside, Getachew getting herself involved. Wiley, the American, made the decision to give herself a clean run here, be the front of the pack, and she's going to have to be incredibly strong in the home straight. She's going to take the win here in Doha. Wiley goes again with 50 to go, but Daguma looking strong on the outside. Wiley willing her legs on. There's nothing between these two. The line approaches, and Addie Wiley, what a run, 157.98, a brave, brave run from the American. Took it on early, gave herself the shortest racing line, and that strength in the last 50 was fantastic. She's not quite sure she's got the win. She's got the flowers, and she'll be keeping her eye on the scoreboard.
Yeah, well done, Addie Wiley. You know, there's a great example of do not give that up. You know, you're right. 300 to go. When the pacemaker dropped out, Nakai didn't really go with it, so she went past. Others followed. Maloney was following. Then they kind of all bunched. Daguma came wide down the back straight, and you thought she's putting herself in a good position, can't finish strong. And then you know, you get to 150 to go, and you think, okay, Wiley's here to be shot at. She's got Nakai on the inside, she's got to watch that. She's got Daguma coming on the outside, got to watch that. Daguma actually got past her. And you can wilt then. You can wilt. Right, it's my race done. I'm still going to run hard, see if I can hang on for a second. But she wasn't doing that. She was, right, I can still win this. Because Daguma went past me a little bit, but not enough. And here, the belief just soars back into her veins. And she thinks, no, I can win it, I can win it. And just has enough strength, as you said there, Hannah, to get herself to the line. So well done, really gutsy, dug in hard in the last 50 metres. Look at that smile, says it all. 57.98.
Nothing more soul-destroying than leading and someone coming past you. But what about when you think you've made a winning move and it doesn't work? Poor Sige Daguma must have thought, that's all I've got, and it's not enough. Wiley, with a few weeks left to go until that US Championships, is having a great 2026. 157.98 for the win.
Chris Nielsen, USA, will be the first to go. And Sandra Thompson.
All right, well, we saw Carolise go clear at 5.92 in the second attempt. Only man left. Well, it's 3-4 of them left, but the man we're going to see next to have a go at his third attempt. Nobody else managing to get clear in the second attempt, only Carolise. So the others, this is the last chance. So Nielsen first. Oh, he's done it! I thought he just knocked it off. I think maybe he did as well. Wow, well that will really, really fire him up. That's the best he's managed this year. And I said he's been trying to rediscover that great form he had a couple of years ago, and he's kind of taken a big step there. That's a great clearance. You know, he'll say, yeah, it was easy. It was a bit messy, and it was rattling there for a little while. He was begging it to stay up, and it did. So season's best for Nielsen. He joins Carolise. A couple of others with another attempt left.
Sondre Thompson, third and final attempt here to see if he can join Nielsen and Carolis. Next height will be 6:02. Definitely gets even more serious after this. Thompson, brilliant jumping indoors. A bit disappointed with only 5th at the World Indoor Championships. But he won't be disappointed with that. These men, they're really warming up into this pole vault. I don't know if it was hotter perhaps an hour and a half ago when they started jumping. It would have been warm when they were warming up. But they just seem to be settling into this. So to have 3 men clear at 5:92 in Thompson, Nilsson and Carolis means we'll have 3 men attempting 6 metres. 6:02. Great to get 2 of them over.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best we've seen from him since the indoor season. You know, he's been struggling a little bit outdoors, 5:70, 5:72, finished second in Oslo, but that was actually probably his best one of the night. I mean, obviously, it was the highest one, but it just looked nice rhythm. Yeah, very good. So 3 clear when I wouldn't have put money on that one back in 5:62. Can Sam Kendricks join them? A little bit extra weight to carry up there with that beautiful moustache. He styles it well. Seriously watching a little bit of it's a kind of a cross breeze for the pole vaulters where they are. Just waiting for the right time to go. Third attempt to stay in this. 5:92. That's the end of Sam for the evening. Would have been a season's best for him as well had he gone clear. Still a good competition though, really good.
Exactly what you said, Steve, and we're watching them at 5:62, struggling, looking hot, looking frustrated with the wind. We wouldn't have expected to have 3 go clear at 5:92, but it's a shame we're not going to add Sam Kendricks to that pile.
All right, well, that's where we are. Got a beautiful view overhead of the Qatar Sports Club, city in the background. Scioli, the young Italian who has been doing so well. No Tamberi, but it doesn't matter to the Italians at the minute. I mean, they'd love to have him back, but this guy's doing it for them, isn't he?
It was a brilliant win in Rome at that home Diamond League. Scioli looking good there. Good clearance at 2:20, and that competition in Rome, it wasn't a massive anomaly in terms of height for the Italian, but guys that he beat that night in that cauldron, or in that semicircle so often occupied by Tamberi in the Olympic Stadium. Scioli had it instead and made the most of it.
Yeah, 3 wins or 4 wasn't that night? 3 Italian wins?
Fabri, him and Diaz Hernandez in the triple.
Yes. Yeah, really good evening. Bar still only at 2:20. We have lost 1 or 2, but Dorachuk, the Ukrainian, who did brilliant indoors. But it must be lovely to come to Barshim's home. You know, they all, I mean, he's himself been creating high jump competitions around the world as well, very keen to give others the opportunity. But to come to where, he's so loved and he's done such great things over the years. I'm sure for the high jumpers, it's a bit like, Milan's going to Oslo to some extent. Dorachuk clear. Talking of Barshim. I was saying, Hannah, some of that stuff you were saying yesterday, you could almost take as not arrogance. He's not like that at all. We know that. He's a lovely guy. But he was just saying about how he does feel some of that kind of, all-time great, GOAT mantle. So when he comes out to compete like this, the fans here just go, oh, he's here, he's back, he's going to... And like he says, I can't keep doing that my whole life. I want to compete well. I wouldn't compete if I didn't think I was going to compete well. But I have to accept where I'm at.
And I think when you look at it, it's such a fantastic career, and there were so many points in his career we thought he was going to be the guy to challenge the world record. He settled into second all-time, that brilliant 2:43, and with that gone, you've got to say, he's probably not going to challenge the world record now. You're not going to find that 2 centimetres to Sotomayor. Instead, he's got to try and build that legacy instead.
Okay, so on the far side of the track, the women are out for the 5,000 metres, 12.5 laps. Conditions are such that it'll be really interesting to see what these women decide to do. Primarily an Ethiopian field here, including Lakina Amabab. But if you'd listen to us chatting about her in Rome, she doesn't really run for Ethiopia. She's lived and trained in Spain for a long time now. Belene. Others who've been really good on the circuit this year, so just watch out for them. You say we haven't seen too much of her yet this year. I was a bit disappointed, I think, in her performance in Rome, where she was. But yeah, it was a quick race. It really built that race. It wasn't looking super quick and then really took off with kind of 3 laps to go. Don't think we're going to see something similar here. Going to be a little bit of a war of attrition in these conditions. 1 or 2 youngsters given their first chance in a Diamond League 5,000 metres. And remember, Hannah, this was originally due to be held in May, when conditions would have been a little cooler than this. So we kept the same schedule, the same races. Amabar, super talent. On the roads, has got a 65-minute half marathon this year as well. Just has been in the best form of her life. Cross country, loves training and racing in Spain. Has kind of given up though on achieving Spanish citizenship. And I've read that she said she's now trying to run for Qatar, which is where we are. So watch this space. Probably starts as favourite here, given how she has been performing. Pace has been kind of set at a, I think, a fairly ambitious 13, sort of mid-1320s. 13, that would be good.
It would be very ambitious.
1420s, the heat's getting to me. Anytime now. There we go. So 12.5 laps of the track, and the pace, well, again, one of the other Ethiopians is going to be setting the pace here. And it's always difficult because your meets want their races to be quick, and there's been a great tradition, actually. It's not a tradition, it's just happened over the years in Doha. 3,000 and 5,000s here have been quick, but we're usually in May. I think athletes come here, first kind of meet where it's a bit warmer, and then bang, 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 you've got your... A month on, it's just a bit trickier, and you've got to be really careful with what you do. And we can see that already. Pacemaker's gone out, everybody else is going, not for me.
And it's totally understandable, forgivable, predictable that the field has just let the wave lights get away from them straight away, and the pacemaker could have a lonely few laps here. And I think this is the right call from these athletes. You can see Lakina Amabel, I think you're quite rightly picking her out as a favourite for this race, Steve, right at the back. You know, she's very proficient over that half, over the 10K, and even she is kind of saying, let's just back off, let's just take this easy here.
Yeah, she's got good range, you know, and she's run fast as well, over 3,000, and a 4-1 1500 as well, you know, so there's no slack. So she won't be thinking, oh my word, it needs to be quick for me to, you know, it needs to be a hard pace for me to win this. The only thing you would say is obviously the slower it is, it gives everybody a bit more of a chance.
That's what I do love about endurance races. Yeah, the slower it is, the less predictable it is. And Maria Ferrero, she's a youngster, the Spanish athlete, 23. She's doing brilliant at European age group level, taking titles on the track, titles on the cross country with very gutsy runs. So she's decided she's not come all the way to Doha to run slowly. Sondrik Thomsen, first athlete we're going to see attempt 6:02. Gone over 6 metres, like 2 or 3 times in his career now. 6 metres back in 2023 for the first time, and then 6:06 this year indoors. Man, he can't find the extra 10 centimetres, not with his first attempt anyway. Thomsen, not quite sure what the hand signal means there. Don't speak proficient pole vault sign language. Perhaps just, let's just go again, that's fine. Knocking it off on the way up. So he's the first athlete to have a go.
First kilometre.
I'm not going to kind of give you the splits of the pacemaker, but the pack went through at about 2:25, about 3 minutes for the kilometre, so running at 15-minute pace. So it's not super slow given the conditions. So you're right, Ferrero kind of kicked them into action a little bit, which was good to see. So Desi has taken on the challenge at the front. But yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? You know, you kind of have to work out when to build your race in it when the conditions are like this. And one thing you don't do is go off for the first 2-3 laps too quick. So the white wave light is set at that 15 minutes. They've given up on the green one, quite rightly so, which was the meeting record.
I think that's a smart shout. 15 minutes in these conditions is still very respectable. And you'd hope that these women could run along at that 3:02, 3:03 or so, and then maybe still muster, I don't know, 2:55 or so for the final kilometre.
Cheptegei, who's leading the pack there. Maharo's moved up. Nebratu coming up on the outside. Kalane, who probably should expect to go well a little further back. And the pre-race favourite right at the back, almost at the back, one from the back.
And your Carolis next up to try 6:02. It's so rare to get two guys over 6 metres in the same competition. I'm getting ahead of myself. We haven't got anyone yet. Carolis, can he do it on his first attempt? And this is what we've seen a bit over the last few weeks. He's such tremendous height, but he's almost having to make such a narrow pike at the top. He's got nothing to play with. Get a replay there. Is he indicating he hit it with his arm? No, well, yeah. Did clatter it with his thighs, but it was the forearm that totally took it off. He's got to get off that pole quicker. Not a bad attempt from Carolis.
Well, the pacemaker, it's not her fault. People didn't want to go. She did what she was asked to do, but it's been passed now. Cheptegei picking up the challenge of keeping the pace going. They haven't really picked it up, still kind of 72-second laps, there or thereabouts. I mentioned the bigger names are right at the back. Aissa's at the back, or towards the back. And Abamor is just kind of watching what's going on. Nothing really happening, keeping out of trouble. Big pack there. Oh, careful, folks. One or two stepping on each other's heels. That's the trouble when it's just not running in a natural rhythm for a lot of them. That they'd be expected to be running a little bit quicker than this in terms of pace, but they just need to be, I think, rightly so, as we both have kept saying, just be careful. No need to push and shove.
Well, it's always on the bends, isn't it? When you're already running wide and you're trying to drift in, trying to not give up as many metres to your competitors. The pack here through 2 kilometres in 6 minutes, so keeping up with those around about 3-minute kilometres. But they can't be tired enough for the pushing and shoving to be due to fatigue, I do think you're right, Steve. It is funny, isn't it, when you're finely tuned and you're used to running maybe 67, 68 per 400 and suddenly you're running 72s. It can be a bit awkward.
Yeah, and there's a mindset thing about it. But what your head says and what your body says can get out of kilter. It sounds a bit daft to say that, but it's what happens. Athletes, particularly distance runners, are so much about rhythm and feel, and they know what they do, their laps and training, and then they come into a race, and all of a sudden, by the way, when you think, I should be feeling okay running 72s, and they're probably thinking the opposite, going, oh my God, I feel terrible, what's going on? And because it's not a natural pace, and it's because of the conditions, your mind then starts to go, why do I feel so bad at this pace? But yeah, all of a sudden there is a little bit of injection of pace down that back straight, just a little.
As I say, it looks like Cheptegei is lifting the pace, but unless the lights, sometimes the lights do get faster through the race, don't they? But yeah, she looks like she's lifting the pace. Maybe the fatigue, the cumulative fatigue for the pack is starting to show here, because the lights would indicate that Cheptegei, the Kenyan, isn't going any faster, but the behaviour of the pack looks like she is squeezing it.
Well, you know what's not helping? So in fourth place, that's Nebret, who is the pacemaker, and she's decided to join in the race, and she caused a little bit of altercation back there. I don't know if the others would be too happy about that. She was there to set a pace. Maybe wisely she dropped back, but she's not leading the race. She's now racing the race. And one or two might be thinking, okay, that's not what you were meant to do, but nonetheless, that's what she is doing. And you're right, they're just sitting right nicely on that 7.2 second pace, which is why we still have a big pack.
But how often do we see it in these hot races? I think the last kilometre could be... carnage isn't a kind word. It's not a word I like to use about people that are trying to kind of show their skill and their fitness on the track. But I do think we could see, despite the kind of slower pace, the 3-minute kilometres, I think kind of the body temperature's going to be raising, the fatigue's going to be settling in. And, you know, with 8.5 minutes on the clock now, they're all okay with the next 5 minutes could yield a totally different story.
But Amabor in the blue, about 3 or 4 from the back on the curb, has been happy to stay there. Everybody's looking as though they're working harder than they might think or expect at this pace. But the athlete at the front, Chepengeno, has been doing all of the work here. Teammate Chep Karui now taking on, helping. Just trying to lift it a little bit. You just see the sense of that, don't you? And looking a bit further down to see Aissa's moving a little bit closer up through the field, and finally the expected pacemaker stepped off. Just a bit of pace on now, Hannah. So if you are further back, you just have to keep an eye on what's going on, because Aissa's now moved into third place. And, you know, if I was Abermore, I'd be just looking ahead and thinking, all right, that's a danger.
Well, through 3 kilometres in around about 9 minutes, and this 4th kilometre, that's where 5Ks are won and lost, I'm told. I'm not having too much experience in them myself, but this is the really tough moment. And you're right, so in that internal feedback is telling you, you've only gone through in 9 minutes, you should be absolutely fine, but actually you're tired. And it's here where you've got to really concentrate. And Amabor, you're right, she's very, very far back now. She's not far from the lead in terms of distance. What are we talking, 10 metres or so, but I think at some point in the next 600, she's got to get herself ahead of that big pack.
Yeah, she's looked a couple of times as though she wants to get out, but then is happy to stay. But that's what will be happening with her, the same as everyone else, be thinking, goodness me, I feel terrible at this. I'm just going to stay here. So you start to trick yourself into thinking, you know, I'm just going to have to wait and see what I can do at the end. I think she would trust her kick, but there are plenty in here who can kick. The trouble for the likes of Aissa, she doesn't have a good kick. It's one thing we've said about her in her career so far. So will she hit it hard, you know, a couple of laps out? So Abermore really needs to be aware of that, because if Aissa jumps off the front, you wouldn't want to give her too much of a lead.
And if we were at a championships where it was, say, I don't know, 27, 28 degrees, I think Aissa, if she looked up at the big screen, she'd be gone right now. But these athletes are going to be intimidated by the conditions. It's going to be drilled into them by their support team. You know, respect the conditions, respect it. And I think that could be the only thing that's going to let Amabor get away with being placed so far back in the pack now.
Well, she's got off the curb, which is a positive move. Look at young Ferrero is right up there thinking, wow, I'm mixing it here with all of these guys who they've all run, or not all, but a lot of them have run well under 14:30. But what a chance here to get a good position in the Diamond League 5,000 metres. So 3 laps to go. It's all bunching up. Aissa looks as though itching to try and make a move, but there's about 12 women there. You could almost throw a blanket. That would be a bit too hot though. But yeah, they're very, very close together.
They really are, and Ferrero, she's been swallowed up by the pack slightly, but when you're talking there, Steve, about the kind of internal feedback and battling your mentality against how you feel, you know, Ferrero with that cross-country pedigree, you know, an athlete like that can run those races that aren't about lap splits, that are about feel. I think that's why she's just going for it, that she's just mixing it with these guys, and she's not scared to go for the lead.
Alamayo is close there. Look at Ferrero, just gives a little bit of a nudge through. Aissa's still sitting on the shoulder of our leader, who just says, look, just leave my heels alone, please. I'm doing the best I can in the front. And Amabor just gets a little closer, moves up another couple of places, senses now as we're into the last 1,000 metres, she needs to be there, needs to be ready for any strikes. Will it be her? She might leave it late, but there's plenty in with a chance here.
And I'm wondering the ripple effect of a Mabel moving. I think, you know, a lot of these athletes will be looking at her, as we are, as one of the pre-event favourites. And sometimes when the big athlete makes a move, it causes a bit of carnage, and you can see everybody reacting to that move. And look at the size of that pack with 2 laps to go.
Amabor now on the shoulder of Aisa. Those might have been the two we'd expect to contend if it had been fast, but it's not fast, it's been slow. But now they're just starting to warm up here. It's going to be a big sprint. They've got 700 metres of running left. They're all looking for space, but Lene looks a bit pained, but moves down the back straight wide and tries to find a good position to strike. But at the moment, Aisa and Amamol have got this lead here. Nobody really doing anything yet, though. 600 metres left. It's been whittled down a little bit, but not much. Who's got the legs? Who's got the pace? Who's got the change of pace? Who can get a gap here? Who goes first?
Mabel has faced some stiff competition so far this year. She almost held on to Faith Kipyegon over at the start of the season. She got the better of Ferrani highly, and then the tables were turned, and Mabel timed her kick wrong. So there'll be so much going through her mind here, just trying to judge this last circuit perfectly.
And the first to go is Ayaju, and they don't react as quickly as you might have said. Amabor's got stuck on the curb. Melena's coming up on the outside. Aisa's cut it off and has grabbed the curb. Still plenty with a chance here. It's going to be very close because the big kick is on. Amabor got left and is now trying to get back involved down the back straight. But Aisa, who's leading this at the moment, Aisa stretching away. Amabor's still coming, still trying to charge, but Belene, who covered the move pretty good and pretty quickly, has fallen, has been clipped from behind. Oh my word, she was making the big move. Amamor's managed to avoid all of that. It's going to be Aisa, and what we might have expected, the sprint at the end, but that wouldn't have happened if not for the fall. Can Aisa kick and win for the first time against others who seem quicker? But this time she's got the legs. Amabor's got nothing left. She's closing a little bit, but it's not going to be enough. Aisa's going to take the win. 14:38 in the end, 14:54, what am I talking about? Well. Lene had made the big move. She looked as though she had the legs. I'm not sure who clipped her. There was so much pushing and shoving with 200 to go, people trying to make the moves. Amabor had lost her position badly, was trying to get back involved. We need another look at that, Hannah, but well done, Isa. We've said that so many times she gets out kicked by others. This time, I mean, that was a bit attritional, to be fair, but yeah, well done. Right place, right time. Let's just have a look at this.
Belene on the outside here, going absolutely flat out, and I almost thought with the way she launched a sprint, I don't know if she miscalculated where she was on the track.
Oh, no.
That was when I was down the back straight. I thought that's it. You don't get any harder than that from the facial expression, from the arms, and I think she perhaps was leaning for the finish.
Who did that at London? Do you remember?
On the back straight somewhere.
Yeah, sprinted. Okay, come back to me on that.
Yeah, but I think when I saw the sprint happening in real time, I thought, hang on a minute, that's a bit aggressive.
If we'd see that again, because it wasn't clipped, she did that whole lunge for the line, kind of a couple of side steps that you might do, and went.
Yeah, and I think it's hot conditions. It's a really loud crowd here. It's not hard to get disorientated. I know it would seem simple to a person watching on, but
there'll be people at home Googling or just know. London Diamond League a few years ago, same thing happened. Anderson Peters, come on, let's talk about this javelin, Hannah.
Yeah, there was a lot to unpick in the closing stages of the 5K, but this javelin, the talent that they've lined up here in Doha is just brilliant. There's so many winners over the years, so many plus 90-metre throws here. Anderson Peters has managed that, and here he's doing all right so far. Two-time world champion. Patarage, though, you said it already, Steve, when you were introducing this event. It's the sensation of the season, over 92 metres in Rome.
Yeah, former cricketer, fast bowler, whose dad persuaded him. His family, his dad was a shot put discus thrower, said as good as he was at cricket, I think he, it might not mean a lot to him, but he 134 kilometres an hour as a 14-year-old. I mean, that's impressive. There's not many, but he went, no, I'm going to use that arm speed, and he's turned him into a javelin thrower, and yeah, amazing. And he's also getting coached now down in Australia, Kelsey Lee Barber, former world champion. So they've got a kind of a mix of a coaching centre, which is working brilliantly, and you know, top of his game, best form, just amazing, absolutely amazing what he's doing. Just wonder what Chopra's kind of set himself up for here this evening.
Yeah, not an easy opener for Niraj Chopra at all. Curtis Thompson, bronze medal in Tokyo. We have got the full podium here from Tokyo. Thompson, a wonderful day for him. Real punch through, I think, for the American. Lots of top eights, but to get onto that podium, it means so much to these athletes. He's doing okay this year. He's got an 85-33 from Ramona, that facility so known for its discus. And if you're going to kind of hate on following wins, then you probably can't enjoy the Doha Diamond League. We get a wonderful win behind these athletes. They've taken them to the other side of the track. And I was reading, what is it? You've got to throw higher. You throw flat, the wind's going to punish you, it's not going to help. You've just got to change that angle ever so slightly. So the athletes will try and read the conditions.
Yeah, they kind of want to try and float, but if you get the angle too high, it'll just stall. So, yeah, that angle, that's what they say they've been working on with the young Sri Lankan. Talking about young talent. Beautiful clearance, 2:24, first time for Matteo Scioli. Very, very good Italian. Knows that Barshim is the favourite home soil, but he'll definitely give him something to think about and would love to win this here. I can't remember who I was talking to, I think it was last year, about, you know, what's a good age for high jump? Like when do you hit your peak? Because some of them just seem to go on and on. Yeah, anyway, there was no answer to it, by the way.
Well, Ole Dodashuk might be hitting his peak at 24 with a world indoor title. This is his first outdoor competition, so good to have a look at him here. I don't know, maybe he's saving a bit of pizzazz for a higher height, because he's looked a bit lackadaisical here in Doha. I do think, you know, each athlete's different. Some athletes, you have to conserve some of that emotional energy. And Dodashuk, over 2:30 in his career. Fair enough, probably shouldn't celebrate at 2:24.
Yeah, still, we hope early stages, but get whittled down already a little bit in the high jump up the top end of the stadium. There's the winner of the 5,000 metres. A strange race, not unexpected that it would be slow in these conditions, but did Nalene misjudge? Did she think 200 metres to go was the finish line? I mean, it looked that way, didn't it? Although there's nothing to suggest that, there's no equipment there that says that. Anyway, where the finish line, where she thought, is now the start of the 200.
And it's a bit easier for these guys, just half a lap. I think they can get their heads around that. 12.5 can be a bit mind-boggling in 33 degrees heat. Selepe Faisal of Botswana will go in lane 8, this year's African silver medalist. Came very close to 20 seconds when he won the national championships in Botswana in 2008. Right up in the crowd. Makanaka Ishe Charamba of Zimbabwe goes in lane 7, Olympic finalist. He's in his first pro season here after finishing his NCAA career. New personal best at the Lone Star Grand Prix of 1988. Alexander Orgando takes lane 6 for the Dominican Republic. He's made every global final for the last 4 years, including 4th in Paris and 6th at last year's World Championships. Sinasifo Dambile will go in 5. He was 8th in that Tokyo final, but a big personal best to win the Kano Classic earlier this year in 1977. Shakna Traore of the Ivory Coast goes in 4. He took gold at the African Championships, beating Faisal, an athlete we met, in lane 8. Renier Mena of Cuba goes in lane 7 in the top 15 all-time, thanks to a 1963 back in 2022. And 2 4th places so far this year in Stockholm and Oslo. Curry King is the season's best of 2024 in Gaborone as a warm-up to taking bronze in the mixed 4x1 with the USA. And the final athlete in lane 1, Robin Ganter of Germany, just won his 5th national championships after injuries ruined both 2024 and 2025 in the outdoor season. Great to see the German here and healthy. Alexander Orgando, his first Diamond League appearance of the year, just been easing in on smaller competitions, just showing himself where he's going around that bend into the straight. He's going to get into his blocks in lane 6. But a lot of talent in this race, a lot of opportunity for these men to pick up Diamond League points, world ranking points, and maybe a quick time. Meeting record, 1967 from Kenny Benarak. I think that might be all right, we'll see. See what the next 20 seconds brings. Got to run a good bend in the 200 metres. You've got to build that speed, that pace, and convert it into the straight. Dambile moving well here. He's got the advantage off the bend, but suddenly he's got a decent amount of company here. Chiramba closing hard in lane 7. Dambile holds on to it in the middle in lane 5. 1974. All right, they weren't too far off that meeting record. What a run from Dambile. Come on, but oh, there we go. It stayed as 1974. It briefly went a bit faster on my computer, but a lifetime best for the South African. Fantastic. Equal lifetime best for Chiramba and a plus 1.8. Brilliant. That's just what you want. Come to a windy venue, get it perfect. It looks like he expected that.
He ran really well against Lyles, didn't he? And when you run a big 150 like that, when Lyles broke the world record in Ostrava, then you know that the pace is there. But he did put that good bend together you talked about. So did one or two others. But he's got the lead and he stays strong. You're right. The very tall Chiramba, who's like 6'3" or 6'4" or something, finishes better. Didn't get around the bend as well. But that's what a 200-meter race is. You've got to do all the elements really well. And he's done that in a way which I'm with you, Hannah. I wasn't expecting that. It's quick.
We're looking at that replay there for Dambile. He looked so relaxed around the bend. He just let it happen. He didn't force it. Dambile takes the win, 1974. Chiramba, 1988. And Orgando, big season's best for him, 1996. 3 under 20 seconds in the men's 200.
Yeah, big 200-meter race. Very, very quick indeed. Karalis then, 6 meters 2, the pole vault. What a good competition that turned out to be as well. Second attempt. Well, the crowd were up. He looked up, but he gave it such a clatter on the way down. Was never going to stay there, was it? That all looks good. Look at the height he has, but he comes down on the bar. Look at that. Look at the clearance. What? Amazing. It comes in. Look at him, he's kind of going, it's there, the frustration for him. Nielsen.
Great to see Nielsen attempting a bar in excess of 6 meters. Not quite. So many poorly timed injuries. What was it, broken hand last year, then a groin strain. And good to see him back to full health. And on count back, he is just ahead of Guttormsen. Guttormsen will have another attempt here at 6:02.
I think he'll be really happy with these evening's work. I mean, this would be a big bonus. No. 5:92 season's best. Outdoors is great. Brilliant indoor season, and now starting to approach 6 meters outdoors as well. So well done to him. Didn't look great early on, did he? Got it back together.
So Karalis has won the competition on count back, and for his final jump, he's going to have a go at 6:07. No, nowhere near. And I think Karalis made some smart tactical decisions with those passes early on. He got the win on count back. I think perhaps the conditions just compounding that fatigue for Karalis, Nielsen and Guttormsen. Those 6:02 attempts were all pretty tired from those men.
That was all based on that second attempt at 6:02. I mean, it was phenomenal. Yeah. And he's thinking, well, an adjustment, but wasn't able to make it. Sadly for him, 400 coming up very, very soon. We'll be seeing Paulino for the first time in the Diamond League. There she is against Bukowiecka, you just saw. There's a movie been made about her life, which apparently is well worth watching. It's coming out on one of those streaming services that everybody knows about.
Paulino or Bukowiecka?
Paulino.
Oh, interesting.
Scioli in the high jump. Oh, that's good. Now, that's a few minutes ago, but Bar's gone to 2:27. We haven't seen that much of Barshim, but he is still in this. But this man is asking the questions, isn't he, as he did in Rome. Looks unfazed by it all, doesn't he?
Really does, doesn't he? I mean, he's been very competitive on the age group level. You mentioned those age group championships. They are stressful, and they probably do prepare you for the arena of the Diamond League. Barshim, his first attempt at 2:27, very nice. When he's on form, the speed he's got, he's quite flat when he goes to the bar. He does arch, but not as much as some of his competitors. He just glides over it. He's got a decent scorecard, just the one failure at 2:24, and puts him behind Scioli. Nice. So, months out with injury last year, wasn't it? 9 months or so. And it's hard. I think it's hard to go through your career when the scales have tipped. You're spending more time in pain, more time injured than not. Great to see him looking good tonight.
Third attempt to join those two for Doroschuk, the young Ukrainian. Never quite looked like he had that height in his grasp this evening, so 3 failures sends him on his way. But on countback, he will... Actually, no, there was only 3 that cleared at 2:24, so third place for Doroschuk tonight. Not too shabby, given the competition here. I suppose none of them were quite sure what they were going to get from Barshim, but you should have expected him to do well here. So 2 men left.
Got to assume he's doing all right. So we'll just go and catch up with what's going on in the javelin. We saw some pictures of Anderson Peters, Curtis Thompson. They're in first and second at the moment. Neeraj Chopra is in 4th. Best so far, 82.77. Goes now in round 3. It's going to improve, I think, for Chopra just over the 85-metre line. And he's quite honest, I think, in news articles in the past few months, saying he shouldn't have competed in Tokyo. He threw over 90 metres for the first time here, started his season off fantastically, and then pushed through pain to compete in Tokyo and set off a chain of injuries that have been incredibly disruptive. He's only been throwing for 6 weeks, and he asked the organisers here in Doha, like, just bear with me. If I can come, I'll come, and he was confirmed very late, so it's good to see him. And that 85.69, he does move up into 3rd.
So on the far side, the women are out for the 1,500 metres. Basile will be one of those hoping to go well here, but it will be her teammate, or one of her teammates, that she'll be hoping to try and beat. Halom will be the favourite here, I think. Berke Halom missed one of the Diamond Leagues, and but I think that was more to do with travel issues than anything else. So only won the 2 Italians. Calais, who ran really well in Rabat. It wasn't a Diamond League race, but ran really well. Marquez, and great to see Gesa Krauser here, the great steeplechase European champion and one of the best in the world for a long time. 32, 33 now, and stepping into the 1,500-metre ranks here. So I think she's already run 4:4 this year, so it's going to be quicker than that today, but great to see her in this race. Yeah, you, and you. all present and correct, and away we go. 1500 metre women, 3¾ laps of the track. Pace is not an issue in this one because 1500, this warm weather will be a blessing. There's a little bit of breeze, as we said, down that back straight, but remember what we saw from Halom in Stockholm. Went out hard, too hard, but hung on. I thought, oh, will she learn something from that? Maybe not.
Well, then, I think I've said this over the season that for me, Berke Hailom has spent so much of her career following other Ethiopian greats, kind of feeding off their pace, just following their lead. And she's at this stage now where she's got to step out of their shadow and have her own tactics. And I think she's still finding her feet. I think she's had some brilliant runs, and as you say, some slightly misjudged runs. And to be on the pace here, Berke Hailom, it's not a bad decision. It's okay. It's not going to be suicidally fast. And we've seen Hailom ahead of pacemakers, in the past. But she's settled in there, going through the first lap. Oh, that is quick, actually, isn't it?
Okay, if you're trying to run 3:52, I get it. Maybe that's in her head. She likes to do this, but it's a hard way to do it. She's going to get left out there on her own at some point, backs herself to say, you're not going to be able to stay with me, I'm going to win this race. So there's two things at play. You've got to win, and she wants to run fast. So maybe she thinks the more times I do this, I'm going to hang out there at some point and get the big time, get the big drop. She started the season with 3:55, which is still the world lead. I think she was disappointing at the world indoors. I mean, she finished 5th, was having a good indoor season, and it's that racecraft that I still want to see. And you don't get racecraft by doing this, do you? I get it, Diamond League, win it, but chasing the lights, chasing a pacemaker for a little while. It's going to be quick through 800. What can she do now? Can she pick it up? Can she keep this going? You can see there the meeting record, 3:56.6.
Well, 63 for the second lap, still pretty good for Hailom. And there is a $5,000 bonus, isn't there, if you break a meeting record? Perhaps she thinks doesn't want to leave that money hanging out there, wants to have a go at getting it. And it looked like it was Kalayu and Berhe, the two after Berhe's just gone into second place. And those two Ethiopians there, they are getting caught by Zanoni. We could have one big pack behind Berke Hailom here.
She won her first Diamond League in the Dream Mile in 2023 in Oslo, and at that time she appeared to be the youngest ever winner of a Diamond League women's event at age 17. It has since transpired, and World Athletics Integrity Unit in March have taken away some of the records of some of the Ethiopians on an age basis, saying that they couldn't prove the ages were correct to offer those junior records. But nonetheless, she has run those times, whatever the correct age is. And here she is in the lead again. Sticking with the lights better here. Did slow down, as you said, and is still working hard. But this is better than we saw in Stockholm. Can she finish this off?
It's a brilliant run down the back straight here for Berke Hailom, and the race behind is fascinating. Zanoni's gone hard. She's got plenty of company. Geza Krauser trying to get involved, and Berhe almost took a break, and now she's coming back to try and beat the best of the rest. There's some 50 metres down though.
Yeah, lots of pushing and shoving going on behind there, trying to get themselves in the sprint for second, but that's all it is. It's a sprint for second. The lights are just beginning to go away from Hailom again. She looks tired, but she's done better, much better than she did in Stockholm. It's not going to be a fast time again though. Look how tired she is. Look how she's struggling down this last 50 metres, as the clock will probably tick beyond 4 minutes, maybe just under 59.91. And the sprint after that won by Berhe and Kalehu coming through as well. So 1, 2, 3 for Ethiopia. Well, as I said, Hannah, keep doing it. But we've seen her run the 3:55, and kind of, I'm just kind of going, okay, just she can win these races running them differently to this. But that's the way she likes to do it. So well done to her. And yeah, another good win. It's interesting, isn't it, for the rest of the field? I mean, you as a 1500 metre runner, you kind of go, we know what she's going to do. We'll sit off. but would they be a bit braver to go a bit quicker through 800 to be closer?
I mean, if you told a lot of those women it was going to be running 1 in 3:59.89, they wouldn't have let the leader run away with it, because they would have thought they were capable of close to 4 minutes, particularly Kalayu and Berhe. But that's part of the tactics. You Highland beat them emotionally, beat them mentally through those middle laps. It was 61 and 62. They would have gone, no thanks, I can't start the race like this. And you're right, you need to have different tactics, you need to have multiple things to draw on, but tonight, I mean, Becca Highland, it was a brave decision, and ultimately it did pay off.
Yeah, you know, when you run almost 50 seconds for the last 300.
It's painful, isn't it? Another personal best.
Well, it's a, you know, with better, and not to denude the field here, but you know, with it comes up against a better athlete, you can't keep running that.
No. And that's what I mean. That's where you've got to have some different tactics, and that was the right tactic for this field today in these conditions with that pacemaker.
Yeah, another win for Halom. Just inside 4 minutes. Now back to the high jump.
Sioli, second attempt at 2:29. His lifetime best 2:30. Set that last year in winning the European under-23s. Oh, it's not bad, is it? Not far off Sioli. Just him and Barshim attempting 2:29 with that exit from Dodashuk. So Sioli win in Rome over stiff competition, global medalists. And he's currently leading two-time Olympic champion and all the other world medalists.
So, for Barshim, you would love to get the win here in front of his home crowd, but he's got a competitor against him in Sioli, who's not going to give it up easily. Second attempt, 2:29. No, sailed into the bar there. Frustrated with himself.
Oh, we're going to over 3 3/4 laps of the track. Once again, those wavelengths you can see on the inside, the green waveline for meeting record pace of 3 minutes 56.6. Which you can see on the screen as well. The Brewers for the pacemakers,
It's just clutching his leg there, Barshim, as well. It wasn't, he looked like his old self at some of the earlier heights. With good clearances, good gap between the bar, and bouncy and fluent and flowing over it. That one just didn't look as, it wasn't a good attempt.
All right, this is the third attempt for Sioli. Yeah, I was just watching him there, because he's one of the things he said in the press conference yesterday was that I'm trying to work, every day I work out what is my reason to go and train and what's my reason to compete. You sometimes see him in moments like that where he's just looking out thinking, what am I doing?
What did I say this morning over my coffee?
Well, what he's having to do, what you'll have to do, is to go better if this man clears here. Third attempt for the Italian, Sioli. Oh, it stays on. It stays on. A little clenched fist. He's a cool character, isn't he? He doesn't really give him much emotion away. And nearly you said earlier on, we're going to close up of him there. I was going to say to Johanna, he's got the eyes, you know, that kind of steely look. Not, you know, some people are happy and smiling. Tamberi would come into that. But this guy's got that focus, hasn't he?
And he's not overawed by the occasion. I mean, maybe winning in Rome, yeah, that would have been emotional. I mean, such a big moment, and anything after that, it's just, okay, cool, if I can do that, I can do it again.
I think you just went to Barshim and went, go on, beat that. Maybe. El Bakkali coming up with great men's steeplechase. He will be the favourite. Kibiwat. We've got major championship medalists galore, and great young talent coming through in the steeplechase as well, so look out for that one.
So Anderson Peters in the lead at the moment, 86.38, 30 centimetre season's best. Still fifth all time with his 93.07 from here back in 2022. Let's see what Peters has got here in round 4. Okay, it's going to be over 85 metres again. I think he'll be pleased with this, Peters. The wins in Doha and Eugene were brilliant at the World Championships, either side of a really bad knee injury. And since then, I'm not sure there's been other injuries as such, but he has struggled for consistency. I'd probably say Budapest was a real kind of comeback. Sorry, Tokyo was a real comeback for so many of these men. Sean Walcott winning, Peters picking up the silver. Peters stays in first place with 86.38.
Curtis Thompson, the American. We're in the fourth round here, still not the big fireworks we were maybe hoping for, might have expected here. A puff of chalk dust as he sets that javelin on his way, but he'll be disappointed again with that. So Thompson, 85.99 in the very first round. That looks as though it will remain his best so far. Pretty good conditions. Was here last year, you know, when Chopra threw that 90 and then Julian Weber came through 91 and everyone went, yeah, delighted for Julian, but there was a Chopra, you know, with that brilliant first time over 90 meters, just got overshadowed a little bit.
Patanaje in fourth place at the moment, 84.63, and when he threw that 92 in Rome, he said, not even in Doha yet, what's he going to throw when he gets here? Oh, he's roared that down. Okay, it's up towards the 90-meter mark. It's not over. Patanaje, I think he would come here, would relish the opportunity to throw in an arena that's so famous for big throws, so many throws over 90 meters. So they'll try and win here first. Patanaje down in fourth place before this throw. It's definitely going to improve his standing significantly.
Yeah, that looks good enough to take the lead. Fourth round, finally warms up a bit. 88 and 68 centimeters for the Sri Lankan. Back in the high jump, passed his third attempt at 2:29, having seen the young Italian go clear at his third attempt. So nothing left here for Barshim to do but to clear. Has to make this. Maybe a better attempt than we saw before, but 2:31. Not ready for that yet. Looks a little pained, doesn't he? Hope he's okay.
I think there's something going on with that left quad. Even then, he was just trying to pull his leg up to take his shoe off, and there was a grimace.
Far off, well.
It was way better than the second failure at 2:29.
Well, what a day for the young Italian. Wins in Barshim's backyard.
One lap of the track coming up for the women. The great 4 hurdles won by Emma Zappatalova. No hurdles now for these guys. Obakeng Kambaruka of Botswana goes in lane 8. It's underneath 51 seconds for the first time to win their national championships, and then silver at the African Championships. Paris Peoples, pair of global golds so far, World Indoors and the World Relays, and Peoples just seems to be seeking experience. She's racing here, there and everywhere on the circuit. Natalia Bukowiecka, the Olympic bronze medalist, would love to dip under 50 seconds as she goes towards defending her European title this season. Marilady Paulino goes in lane 5. The Olympic champion went 3rd fastest all time when she took silver behind Sydney McLaughlin and Levrone. Lane 4 goes to Roxana Gomez of Cuba. She was 6th in Tokyo and has been getting faster with every race this year. 50.2 in Estrava the other day. Martina Val of Chile takes lane 3. She improved by over a second last year. It was agonisingly close to the final in Tokyo. Not raced that much so far this year, 51.06, her season's best. Bassam Hamida, great progress for her over the last few seasons after moving up from 100 and 200, 50.27, her season's best. And the final athlete in lane 1, Skadi Shear, ran 51.63 to break a 3-year-old personal best in Dresden 3 weeks ago, so in good form, but lane 1 to contend with. Val, Gomez, Paulino, Bukowiecka, the big hitters in 3, 4, 5 and 6. First appearances at the Diamond League this season for Paulino and Bukowiecka. long wait for the women here. The crowd very respectful, stayed nice and quiet. But they're off. Bukowiecka has been in decent form. She opened up with a win at home in Bydgoszcz and then skipped Stockholm with a bit of a niggle. She's just getting onto the coattails of Paris Peoples down the back straight. Lead being credited to Scheer, the German, in lane 1. But you feel like Marilady Paulino is only just getting into her running here. She's flying around the top bend here, Paulino. She streaks past absolutely everybody. This is a brilliant run for Marilady Paulino. She's gone down the home straight. The Olympic champion who had to settle for silver in Tokyo is in fantastic form. What a run for Marilady Paulino. Keep your eye on the clock. 48.91, a meeting record. She shatters Alison Felix's meeting record by nearly a second. That is some serious running from Paulino. She's only competed in low-key things so far this season. She has gone under 50 seconds, but 48.91. And paced perfectly as well. She came home so strongly.
Yeah, Hannah, I mean, I'm kind of looking out. There's that breeze down the back straight. It was like she just, was in a car with where you just push that gear lever over and away you go. Just as soon as she got onto that top bend, it was amazing. Just from this point here, I mean, Bukowiecka's gone out steady but not super hard. And then look at that, in the space of 20 meters. Yes, she's got the stagger to unwind, but she comes into the home straight 10 meters ahead. Just amazing around that top bend. I'd love to see a split for the first 200, the second 200. Yes, she was tired the last 50. Had really gone hard. Rewarded with a big meeting record. Looks great. Looks in fine form. And yeah, we'll undoubtedly go quicker with slightly better conditions without having to deal with that breeze down the back straight.
Well, and I did mention already that $5,000 bonus for the meeting record here in Doha. That will go to Marilady Paulino, 48.91. Season's best for Natalia Bukowiecka in second, 50.1. And Roxana Gomez picked up third in 50.23.
In her first 400 of the year, and now runs 48.9 in her second.
You didn't wear it though?
I've been Kenya a few times. Not tonight. All right, so leading 88.68, Ramesh Patirage. Can't find the big one he really wants, that great arm speed we've talked about. Just trying to flight the javelin correctly on this slight breeze. Not able to do it. Warm air. Place where the big throws have happened. Maybe just trying a bit too hard, perhaps. But he is leading. Chopra down in 4th place at the moment.
Sometimes the stadium gets those plus 90s, but they're not quite finding it today. Great to see Barshim with his son. Do you remember the images of him taking his son in Paris just to watch the end, to watch that jump off? That was so nice. They could just sit on the track and watch it. They would love to, as we've said, would have loved to have won in front of a home crowd. Lovely.
Yeah, not quite flying tonight, but great to see him back. Second to Scioli. One more event on the track will be the men's steeplechase. We still have the javelin to conclude. At the moment, though, Chopra will not be in the final 3, which is a shame. But this has been left as a little bit of a highlight, as it is in Rabat. So who's going to get into the final 3 in this javelin?
Yeah, we are well into round 5 here. World champion Kishore Walcott. Great to see him back on the top of the podium 13 years after he won in 2012. And we're seeing a lot of run-throughs here in round 5. Shake of the head from Walcott. He's throwing all right this season, though. I'm surprised to see him as far down as 7th, not just because he's a reigning world champion. He was 3rd in Rabat, 4th in Rome, 2nd in Finland recently. But yeah, couldn't make it work here at Trinidad and Tobago. So that will be his best, 81.47, stays in 7th.
You know, for many athletes, there aren't any major champs, but for others, for some, there are 2 European champs. There's Asian champs there in the year. For the Commonwealth Games, the javelin is going to be the standout event. I mean, Curtis Thompson won't qualify for the USA, but you know, Chopra, Nadeem if he's around, Peters, Patirage, Walcott, Yago, amazing.
I think really
Hope
like
they all
kind of,
turn up.
well, it's like that return to form last year for so many of those names that were kind of dominant, you know, 2012, 2016, that sort of era.
Yeah.
They're all back on form. So, I can't remember what night it is at Commonwealth Javelin, but it's definitely going to be a good one.
Yeah, and the warm, humid air in Glasgow.
Yeah.
Might be a wind behind them, who knows? Scotstoun Stadium. All right, so no Chopra in the final 3. So they reverse the order in which they stand for this last throw. Patirage, Peters, and then it'll be Thompson. So the leader, 88.68, last chance. Can he get close to 90 meters? Knows all eyes are on him now. Can he get the Doha lift here? Looks down, holds it, but that's going to just tail off. Well, it's another win in what is turning out to be a sensational season for him against a good field here. And unless somebody does something amazing with our last 2 throws from Peters and Thompson, then it's another Diamond League title for him. You can sense he's disappointed.
Well, again, you get on the plane, you know, certain arenas, you look at Monaco for some of those distance times, and you look here for the javelin, and you just think, so often we've seen magic. Patirage has been so consistent this season. He's got the lead by 2 meters and 30 centimeters. Anderson Peters winding up for his last throw. And that's going to be short of 85 meters. The line's there, 80, 85 and 90. So a bit of a smile though from Peters. He's racking up those top 3s. He's been top 3 in nearly all his competitions this year, and that's what you want to do. At this time of the season, you want to be just building positive momentum and not having sort of a really bad performance you've got to unpick. Both Peters and Patirage, you know, definitely in that zone of throwing well every time they come out. So no improvement, 83.27. And that leaves just Curtis Thompson to try and shake it up. Crowd gathered over there for the high jump. They'll be excited for the men's steeplechase as well. That always gets a good reception here in Doha. The final throw of the men's javelin. Thompson in 3rd place at the moment, 85.99, 40 centimeters would get him up to 2nd. Jams the brakes on. Nope, wrong side. I don't think they deliberately did a kind of breaking glass sound as that landed. I'm not sure it was meant to be a negative sound as such, but Thompson walks over the line because he knows that's not going to improve on his 85.99. It is new season's best for the American though. And 3rd place at the Wonder Diamond League.
Well, what a good feeling. Keep winning, keep throwing well. As you were saying, Hannah, that consistency, really important. I think when you just, I think his best before the season was 86 meters. So, yeah, you move yourself into a new sphere. Of course, all athletes want to keep producing that when you're in that part of your career where it just seems, I can do this, I can do this. But you also have to accept that, you know, you're not going to do a PB every time.
But it's also, that's the zone you get into when you hurt yourself as well, isn't it? I mean, Patirage, a brilliant win, another win, 88.68. Anderson Peters, 87.38. Curtis Thompson just behind, 85.99. And no 90-meter throws, but a load of season's best.
All right, our final event on the track here in Doha is the men's 3,000 steeplechase with El Bakkali going for yet another win. We've got to see him racing as much this year.
The Olympic champion and 2-time world champion, drawn at 14 alongside the US collegiate champion Jeffrey Kerr.
Great race, in Rabat, as you'd expect, where again it was the last race of the evening. Kind of when you look at his racing schedule, you know, most years he runs a couple of races, then at World Championships, 2, 3. I think Olympic year he had one race before, then the Olympics 2 races afterwards. So we're in June, it's the third time I've seen him. Kind of what we're going to get this year. He might run 5 or 6, who knows? Which would have been a bit unusual, but it's good to see him racing so well. And for him, he'll know some of these other athletes so well. Kabir Watt, Ferreru. Amos Serem, good to see him back. His younger brother's been stealing the headlines a little bit. The Kenyan former world junior champion has had his own injury problems, hoping to do better here. But watch out for Jeffrey Kiwa as well, the US-based Kenyan who's been running exceptionally well. Won the NCAAs just recently with a 58 last lap and has run. Well, here's one thing, a bit of history. He ran 8.6. He's the first collegiate man to run under 8.10 since 48 years.
Oh,
one of the greats, one of the first Kenyan greats.
Oh, I don't know. My guess is going to be Evan Jager running here, but he probably wasn't that good in college.
Rono.
Oh, okay, good company.
Henry Rono, who broke world records at steeplechase, 5,000, 10,000. What a character he was, by the way. So that's good company to be, isn't it, for Jeffrey Kiwa? And do you know what I loved about when we get these stats, little snippets about him? His nickname is Jeff.
Nice and simple.
Easy. Cool. All right, away we go. Lights set at a respectable, I think, 8.8 thereabouts. Adam and I try and decide the significance of an 8.8. It's not a meeting record. They have run under 8 minutes here in Doha before. But yeah, maybe just good even pace. We'll see what the guys fancy. Al-Bakkali happy to just drift towards the back third of the race here. So yeah, you can't go flat out every time. You know, that 8-minute thing is this magical, but it's good to see the guys kind of setting up for a race that quite a few of them are going to be involved in here.
And I think we were querying that 8.08 pace. You know what? You'd like to think it was probably requested by Al-Bakkali. He's the big name in this field. I know he didn't manage to get the World Championship title last year. Got pipped by Geordie Beamish in the closing meters in Tokyo. But Bakkali, you feel like he'd have the most weight when you ask for a pace. And I wonder if he just wants it to be 8.08. He feels like he can kick off that. But the athletes, they're going a tiny bit faster than that, around about 64 through the first 400 meters, and that's more like 8-minute pace. It's harder to work out now. They've started using the water jump, but that early indication is they're going faster.
Yeah, maybe we're giving Duff So they are well stretched out. I mean, that's another way of telling, isn't it? Al-Bakkali's realised they're moving, so just picked off a couple of people, just keeping himself close enough. Sime's up there, Daguna, Abraham Kabir Watt, who probably most times you'd expect to be giving him a good race. Daniel Arce from Spain. So they're well stretched out here through 2:41 through the 1 kilometre mark. So yeah, that is kind of it, 3:84 pace. Obviously, if you did 3 of them, they may well slow. You never know when the pacemaker drops out, but it will pick up again in the last K.
There's a bit of jostling going on there as well. Abraham Kabir Watt trying to overtake a little bit more, trying to keep this pace moving. And I wonder, you know, we know Al-Bakkali's kick, his last 500 is brilliant, his last 150, he's so good over that last water jump. And these guys would have been on the receiving end of that so many times. So perhaps they're just saying, no, not tonight. Not going to let Al-Bakkali have it all his own way. Just keep this going as close as possible to 8 minutes.
Al-Bakkali continues to get a little bit closer to the front, but now the reason is because he knows Kabir Watt is leading. Sime, Serem just moving through as well. Ferreru just follows Al-Bakkali to take a better spot. The aforementioned Jeffrey Kiwa just moving up a little bit closer from the back. just getting bunched a little bit. You know, as soon as the pacemaker drops out, then somebody's going to decide what to do, and it's Kabiwa who's decided, let's keep this going. Maybe we've got a chance of going sub-8 here. Just letting the lights kind of drift away a little bit, but the pace is still on here, Hannah.
It is, and there goes Ibrahim Sime, I think the athlete going into the lead, and El Bakali responds there, respects the move from Sime, and perhaps realises this race is on. And it's at this stage, you know, coming up to 4.5 minutes, the fatigue's starting to set in the middle of the pack. You see Daniel Arce rocking and rolling, but the leaders here, Sime, Kabiwa, El Bakali, all well over the water jump there. Hardly takes anything out of them, doesn't expose any differences between the athletes at this stage.
So Sime leading, Kabiwa behind him, then El Bakali still biding his time a little bit. Daguna moving up on the outside a little bit, trying to get a bit closer as well. Ferrer, who's never been far from El Bakali. Still 3 laps to go here. They're close enough to those lights, but there's plenty of men in with a chance still. Just El Bakali won't do much, will he? Surely you just wait and sit and kick. He's not that bothered about times here. Will want the win. He'll be happy with what's happening at the front. Could be what back there again. He knows him, understands the danger, and just makes a little move to go with him.
We're coming up to 2 kilometres here, and the lights are getting away from them. El Bakali up into second, 8:28 through 2K, 8:27 for Kabiwa, just a stage faster. So, yeah, they have slowed there. They have slowed to a 2:50 or so, just under 2:50 for the second kilometre.
On the shoulder then, this time there'll be 2 laps to go when they come down to the finish here. Sime regathers and finds a position, but looks as though he's working incredibly hard. The Spaniard Arce on the inside. El Bakali looks a little tired, but he's going to just follow every single move. Anyone moves to the front, he just glides out around Kabiwa, looks for a space, sights the barrier over nicely. Some tired athletes out there, even at this pace.
Ferreira has done absolutely nothing except track El Bakali, and some athletes it's hard to hurdle behind them, but Bakali's a wonderful technician. Ferreira is very happily tucked in behind him. So, you know, Ferreira, I look for athletes that are having a quieter race, a calmer race. They're not making big jumps, they're not darting down the inside and fighting for it. Ferreira at the moment, perhaps, if he can respond to this push from El Bakali, could be his biggest danger.
For the first time, El Bakali goes to the front, 600 out. Still plenty with chances here. Although you'd expect the Moroccan to be able to control it from the front here. Just easing himself through that water jump. Ferreira doing what he's done, as Hannah was saying the whole race. Look at Arce, he's having a great run. The Spaniard in third at the moment, with Kabiwa trying to get back involved. And El Bakali not even stretched here yet as he comes to the bell, but he's making the others work, he's making them hurt. Just stutters into that one, hasn't got this one yet, but now he just starts to turn the screw a little bit more. 1 metre becomes 2, becomes 3. Down the back straight, that gap just starts to widen a little bit, and everybody else is trailing in his wake, trying to do the best they can. Arce is desperately trying to get back to Ferreira, who rallies again and has still got El Bakali in his sights. If anything has taken a metre out of him, the gap is 4 or 5 metres, maybe a little bit more. El Bakali's tired, but we've seen this before. Takes that beautifully. Ferreira doesn't lose any ground, but doesn't make any ground either. One last look from El Bakali, one last barrier to negotiate. Over safely, Ferreira over in second place. Arce will come through for third. Win for El Bakali. Well, we said 8-8. 8-9, 28. Hard work tonight in these conditions, even for the great man. The Spaniard ran brilliantly in third. Everybody crossing the line, absolutely spent. It's a tough, hard event at the best of times, and in these conditions even more so. And El Bakali is flat out.
That was hard work. When we watched the women's 5K, and I said, you know, I think it's really going to start to hurt these athletes. They did hold it together better than I expected in the last 600 or 800, those women. But these men, that was absolute survival mode. I think absolutely all of them were dreading the last few barriers. You said it live, Steve. El Bakali, brilliant over the water jump. He's so good, but it takes a lot of energy. And he'll have willed that last barrier. And it's, he's absolutely beside himself here. Ferreira, I think, ran a very good race. And hats off to Daniel Arce. Again and again, he sticks his nose in. He tries to go with the pace. And he's often vulnerable in the last 800. But for the Spaniard to hold on to third, that's a fantastic run. I'd say it's probably one of the best runs in his career.
Yeah. I mean, Ferreira, you know, he kind of let El Bakali go and then thought, oh, hang on a minute, but El Bakali's so strong, isn't he? Last 150 off that water jump. But yeah.
Oh, Calamarian went down over that last barrier. Ouch.
Doha meeting 2026. Thank you so much.
Really painful. We've just seen that out of shot in the background, but that just shows, you know, these guys do this for a living, day in, day out. But get the better of a specialist in these conditions.
Well, from lying on the ground and absolutely spent. So, well done. It's great to see him here. Good to see him racing. Tough race tonight, absorbing one, good to watch. Some good performances behind him as well, given that, you know, we're still around 30 degrees centigrade here. Warm conditions, which you can't really attack the conditions, but they did attack that race, so yeah. Plenty to look back on though, Hannah. It was a cracking night, wasn't it? A few meeting records. Who's your best?
I was going to say, not for a meeting record, but Addie Wiley in that women's 800 metres pretty early on. I enjoyed that race tremendously in terms of a spectacle, a really good middle distance race, but just for her to hold off Sigo Daguma in the final 30 metres, that was nice.
Paulino, a meeting record. We also had an excellent triple jump, women over 15 metres. So just a little look back, and this one as well, right at the very beginning, Hannah.
Zapaltalova absolutely obliterated Dalila Muhammad's meeting record. You see the smile there, broke her own world lead, and that meeting record, it was nearly by a second. Zapaltalova continues her perfect season.
Paulino with a big return to the Diamond League and a very quick 400 metres. All of that happened in the last 150 or so, 180 metres. Brilliant performance from her. And that aforementioned triple jump, 15 metres plus. Legal wind just at the right time for Velatso.
Velashko just goes from strength to strength this season. I love the energy she brought to this competition as well. She was getting involved with the crowd and just really celebrating that jump in excess of 15 metres.
Okay, that's it from Doha, from Hannah England and myself, Steve Cran. Hope you've enjoyed it, this delayed meeting. It still turned out to be a great one. Great that the athletes managed to make it here. And then we'll return to the normal Diamond League dates after this. The crowd here have been amazing, again, have given us a fabulous atmosphere, and the athletes have stepped up and produced, as you've just seen, some wonderful performances. People now heading off really for the second half of the season, some to prepare for championships, some to come back and hopefully keep progressing their Diamond League seasons. The next Diamond League will be back into Europe, where we will be in Paris. Again, that date got shifted a couple of days, but nonetheless, really looking forward to that one as well. But from all of us here in Doha, we'll see you next time. Paris is next. I won't be there. Hannah will be. Looking forward to that one. Hope you can make it. 28th of June, not long to wait.